Marc, just before we started this recording, I took a minute, watched the steam rise from my coffee cup, swirling like mountain mist against the window, and it reminded me how these quiet moments can center us for the day ahead.
I know exactly what you mean. Those small, peaceful moments really do make all the difference, don't they?
They sure do. Welcome to Blue Mountain Morning, everyone. It's Friday, January 24th, and I'm Alex, here with my friend Marc.
And we're here to help you find your own moment of calm as we explore today's stories together.
Let's dive into today's headlines, starting with some significant news from California. Governor Newsom just signed a major relief package. We're talking about $2.5 billion specifically for LA wildfire recovery.
Yeah, and this is really crucial timing. The package includes immediate housing assistance for displaced residents, funds for rebuilding critical infrastructure, and, what I think is particularly important, resources for future fire prevention.
I was just thinking about the families affected by this. Any word on how quickly they'll start seeing this help?
The governor's office says the first wave of assistance should roll out within the next few weeks. They're prioritizing emergency housing needs first, then moving on to infrastructure repairs.
And in completely different news, there's this fascinating development with former President Trump. He's just ordered a plan for the release of remaining JFK and MLK assassination documents.
Right? This is actually pretty significant. He's directing federal agencies to prepare a comprehensive plan for releasing these long-sealed records, though I should note that some portions might still remain classified for national security reasons.
What's the timeline looking like for this release?
Well, the agencies have been given 90 days to present their plan, but, and this is important, there's no firm date yet for when the public might actually see these documents. These things tend to move pretty slowly through the bureaucratic process.
And I imagine there are quite a few historians and researchers who've been waiting years for this.
Oh, absolutely. These documents have been the subject of intense speculation for decades. Some experts believe they might finally help address some of the lingering questions about both assassinations. Though, realistically, we should probably temper our expectations about any major revelations. This California wildfire relief package really highlights something bigger we're seeing across the country. It's not just about addressing immediate disasters anymore. It's becoming a blueprint for how we handle climate-related crises.
I noticed that too. Like, we're not just throwing money at the problem after it happens. There's actually some forward thinking here.
Exactly. What's really interesting is that about 30% of this package is earmarked for prevention and future preparedness. That's a pretty significant shift from how we used to handle these things.
How so?
Well, historically, disaster relief was mostly reactive. Wait for something bad to happen, then send help. But now, we're seeing states like California leading the way in this sort of preventative approach.
I've been hearing that other states are starting to follow California's lead on this.
Yeah. Actually, several states are now developing similar comprehensive disaster response frameworks. Like, Colorado just announced... Sorry, let me rephrase that. Colorado is working on a similar program focused on their specific environmental challenges.
And it's not just about wildfires, right?
No, absolutely not. The really fascinating part is how this model could be adapted for different types of disasters. I mean, whether we're talking about hurricanes in Florida, flooding in the Midwest, or, drought conditions in the Southwest. It's all connected to this bigger picture of climate resilience.
These numbers are pretty staggering, though. $2.5 billion. That's a lot of money.
It is, and here's what people often miss. Studies show that every dollar spent on disaster prevention saves about $6 in recovery costs. So while these upfront investments might seem huge, they're actually incredibly cost-effective in the long run.
So we're really looking at a fundamental shift in how America approaches disasters?
Yeah, exactly. And what's really encouraging is seeing this move toward proactive planning becoming more standardized across the country. Though, I'll admit, we still have quite a way to go.
Speaking of being proactive, you know what really moves me about all this? It's seeing how communities come together during these challenges. It's not just about government action, it's about neighbors helping neighbors.
That's exactly right. And there are some really simple things we can all do to be better prepared. I actually put together an emergency kit last month.
You did? What's in it?
Yeah, it's nothing fancy, just the basics. Some bottled water, non-perishable food, a battery-powered radio, flashlights. Oh, and this is important, copies of important documents in a waterproof container.
That's actually really smart. and probably not that expensive to put together.
No, not at all. And here's what I love. When you talk to people who've been through disasters, they always mention how these small preparations made such a huge difference. Just having a plan, knowing where to meet family members if you get separated.
It's like that saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Exactly. And the really beautiful thing is how these individual actions build community resilience. Like, when everyone's a little more prepared, the whole neighborhood becomes stronger. And that's really what this is all about. Alex, there's something incredibly powerful about California's landscape after a wildfire. It's like nature's own story of resilience.
What do you mean?
Well, you'll see these blackened hillsides, right? But then, just months later, these brilliant purple lupines start pushing through the ash. They're actually called fire followers, flowers that only bloom after a fire.
That's actually beautiful. We spoke about similar things in previous episodes. Nature literally designed its own renewal system.
Exactly. And you know what really gets me? Those giant sequoias. They've been standing through thousands of years of fires. Their bark is literally designed to protect them, and they need fire to release their seeds.
Like they're not just surviving the fire, they're kind of counting on it?
Yeah, it's this perfect reminder that even in what looks like complete devastation, there's this quiet process of renewal happening. Just like our community's rebuilding, nature's got its own way of starting fresh.
Nature really does know what it's doing, doesn't it?
Always has, always will.
As we wrap up today's Blue Mountain morning, I can't help but feel grateful for these moments we get to share together.
Yeah, and we're so thankful for all of you joining us on this Friday morning. You really make this journey special.
And hey, we'll be back on Monday with more stories that matter, more moments of clarity, and probably more of Marc's nature facts.
Can't help myself. Take care, everyone, and remember, your morning starts with you.
See you Monday on Blue Mountain Morning.